Anne Spencer here, and welcome to the Wellbeing Channel. Yes, note I did say the Wellbeing Channel, like there is no other Wellbeing Channel out there. Well, you know what I mean. C'est la vie. This is a short fix, so to speak. I know nothing is ever that short, but when I say fix, I don't mean we have marijuana involved, unfortunately, but more a natural elixir, shall we say. Sounds great, that, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, cut to the chase. I really wanted, or I should have had, this episode on last week because I want to keep a regularity with you all. But I was waiting for up-to-date news, if you like, moving forward with our lockdown lives. Yet, it would seem there is not too much change. So, subsequently, I'm not up to date with anything. No news moving forward then. Well, not quite. There is very confusing and very conflicting, I reckon. They are making small moves in the southern area of Britannia. Concerns and complaints, of course, and I don't blame them. The view is, well, if we're allowed to have cleaners in our homes, why can't we have family visiting? Nothing easy, is it? Always complications for the nation. But obviously, that's true. But in a nutshell, we're not as disciplined as we think, you see. And according to some doctors and within the medical industry anyway, we're all biologically conditioned to stand away from people we don't know, strangers, shall we say, as opposed to family. We can't resist closing in on our loved ones. Only natural, of course, continuation of the species. But seriously, this virus spreads or is transmitted from human to human contact, you see. It's not like a tick or a fly that can jump from one person to another at a distance. The why social distancing is so important and will continue to be so. So that is just in a nutshell. Moving on to the statement from Boris Johnson, as unprecedented as it is, and as we are regularly reminded each day when we wake up. Really, we know when we wake up. It's so surreal, isn't it, when we start focusing on what we're thinking about, what's happening to us. It must be so hard to know it is so hard to know what to do for the safety of society. It's so out of the ordinary. Hard to make the right decisions. But the word, surely, safety in itself should supersede or determine what's clearly best, clearly the best thing to do. In Scotland, a little bit different. Our First Minister, Nicola, has taken the safe route by remaining the same. Stay safe, stay locked down. And in my opinion, I would agree with that, and I'm quite sure there's many people in Scotland who do as well. The virus was spreading very, very quickly. About 7 weeks ago, it was out of control, in fact. And our older citizens in care homes were very vulnerable and still are, actually. So the risk is still too great. So we need to keep the lockdown for longer. And because, which is reasonably good news, the deaths registered last week are down because of the lockdown. We must continue to do that. It's hard, but we've accepted it for a long time and we're continuing to do it and adapting really well. To make decisions, I really believe it's down to knowing or thinking about what's good for us, for you and your family. Work on that. Mainly, we all must try to do this. It's difficult being separated from our family, of course. That need not be said. But think of it as, well, it's like love. We love our families and our friends. Well, to a degree we love our friends. Maybe some more than others. No, I'm only kidding. We care for everyone. So to stay with that separation is part of loving them. We must remember that. It will get better. And to think this way, it will all come around again for us, to see everyone, the people that we love, our friends, our families, those that are close to us. So it's having that patience with perhaps, and it could even be, and I'm hoping that, better. Because we, as a community, the way I see it, we're doing it for each other. And like I said, it's even more prevalent than it was before. People having distancing street parties, if you like, getting on, sort of talking to your neighbour. That before lockdown, we weren't doing things like that. We were losing that community. How ironic that it's thrown this community back into a relevant state of what is really important. And as we remain cut off, these things become bigger and bigger in our minds. We take them for granted day to day. And while that statistics, I need to stop saying that word, but 80%, I'm working percentages again, but it makes us understand about society. 80% of young people prior to this COVID-19 were struggling with mental health, and obviously are even more now, I would imagine. And we need to help ourselves to help others here, to show and maybe lead by example to try and achieve and sustain a better, more collective connection and perspective. Just a small plan. A small plan, a way in which we can work it through each day, in the present day. Small challenges to feel that it's then going to take us forward. And it's just day to day. We are looking forward, but we need to work on the day to reach that stage. And that alone, anxiety and upset and worry, it drops and our mood improves. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And as often as it is said, those material things and the absolute presence of media that dominate our lives on a regular basis and have done are very frustrating, and we're trying to meet standards that are set by another, well, that's another conversation, I guess. But this looking forward message that I'm trying to sort of put forward here is more about getting back our families and the simplicities of our life away from anything that's what's known as material, if you like. We are all in this together, and I think we all know this, and recognising that we have the same vulnerabilities, and we recognise also that the certain things that are important to us are the same as well. Consider that time ahead. It's coming. So guard your mind from too much of the external issues, if you like, during this time. Take responsibility for your thoughts. No one else can do this for you as an individual, or should. We wouldn't want that anyway. Under these circumstances, which are so out of the ordinary, obviously, it's natural to fear, especially when we're focused on what is going on around us, outside of us, because we can't control that, and we really can't. Even for me, I'm like, well, I don't mean to say even, but not knowing what the next thing is, I'm asking these things, are we safe? When will I see my family? What are we going to do after that? All of those things. But I think to make a plan, your own personal plan, just a small one, where your thoughts will determine the road ahead much more easily, without having to think too far into the future, but knowing that we are moving forward just by guarding our thoughts today. Be vigilant what you allow in that heat of yours. Some social media shouldn't be listened to. Use what you need. There's no doubt how wonderful it is, particularly in these times. Imagine without it, we're connecting, we're communicating, we can make calls to our family, we learn from it. Some people use it for a career and for work, and doing what I'm doing now as well. But we need to have a media hygiene, cutting out the things that do not serve you, and if they don't make you feel good, dismiss it. Simple as that. Focus your mind on the present. Get up with a good intention if you can, and you can. Enjoy a breakfast, go for a walk, guard your mind, meditate. 10 minutes, that's all, is not a lot. Some people, it could lead to 15, it could lead to 20. People are doing a lot more as well. Just take a breath, stop. That's guarding your thoughts as well by slowing down. That alone reduces stress. It reduces fear, and there's good hormones, endorphins. These things are released. A stronger inner world you'll have. That's less fear in your mind. That's your inner world in your mind. Overall, we'll become much happier. Now listen, I did say no quotes, but can I drop the odd one in? Thomas Jefferson, because it's so relative. He said, "Exercise and application produces order in our affairs. Health and body, cheerfulness of mind, these make us precious to our friends." And may I add, to ourselves as well. So I love that. But getting back to guarding your thoughts, your inner world that counts, basically. It was going to lead to Afterlife by Ricky Gervais, the new series. I absolutely love it, as the whole of Britain do, and the world actually. So much so they're encouraging him to do the third series, thankfully. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'm sure you will. It is amazing, so relative, and an example of getting your inner world right. So quite extensive, which is why I want to do a separate episode just for that. Should be really interesting, different topics coming up. So this particular episode now, it was kind of took precedence over our lockdown circumstances, government rules changing or not changing as the case may be. And lest we forget, keep guard on your thoughts. It's your inner world that counts. So join me in the next few days where we will continue to reflect our thoughts alongside the universal emotions we see endured in Afterlife with Ricky Gervais, where everyone matters, no judgments. I wish I could say Ricky Gervais would be joining us for discussion, but not yet. It's you and me, but that's all good. So bye for now, and thanks for joining. See you in the next few days. Bye.